Welcome to the edition of Hey Bobby, brought to you by Nika IBEW on 93.5, 1590 WAKR, and by JW Dodato Electric. I'm Ray Horner. Another season, and we've got the Guardians baseball season home opener coming up at the ballpark on Friday, opening up the season on the road. And boy, the offense the last few days out in Kansas City, they were terrific. But the home opener Friday, and Bobby, this is something at least kind of new that I can recall, a Friday night home opener for our Guardians. Talk about opening night for us, my friend.
Yeah, hello, Ray. As we usher in a new era of baseball in Cleveland, our 122nd opening day in our city. We will do so as the Cleveland Guardians, and it is one of the first night games. We've had a couple in our franchise history, simply due to 1995. We had a night game because of the strike was still in place, and then we had a late spring training, and then the replacement player goofiness. And then when we ended up opening up the season, we came back and did a night game. And there's a couple other instances. I think when we had to open in Milwaukee because of the snowstorms wiping out our first home stand. When we finally came back and opened up at home, it was a night game. So very rare, but certainly first time ever we're facing a National League team on opening day as we faced the San Francisco Giants. So looking forward to beginning a new era of baseball in Cleveland as the Cleveland Guardians, as I said, and we're going to have some fun in the pregame ceremonies with Tom Hanks throwing out the first pitch. He'll do so to Larry Doby Jr. as we celebrate the 75th anniversary of both Jackie Robinson and Larry Doby breaking the color barrier in the National League and in the American League, respectively. So looking forward to that. If you have tickets, make sure you're in your seats no later than 6:15, 6:30, so you can take in all the pageantry of opening day.
Bobby, some years more than others, but let's talk about new things maybe inside the ballpark this year, whether it be food, locations, seating. Are there some new items?
Well, there's certainly new food items. Every year you have to add to your menu. Fans look for some new and fun things. This year we have Fat Rooster chicken and waffles. That'll be down in the left field area near the bleachers. Our friends at Melt are doing a mac and cheese bowl that you can add some other things to it if that's what you look for. A foot-long chili dog at Cleveland Dogs and Shakes, which will be out in right field. A number of other food items. One of the cool things we're doing, we're expanding our mobile ordering system at Progressive Field. So there'll be these hybrid concession stands, so you can actually walk up and order your food like normal, or you can order off your phone, and your items will be ready when you go up to the concession stand. There'll be a QR code and information on the back of every seat. So if you're sitting there on the back of the seat in front of you, you just click the QR code, takes you right to it. We've increased by 40% the number of opportunities around the ballpark to access mobile ordering. So I think our fans, once they get used to that process, I think they're really going to enjoy that convenience for sure. You know, we aren't doing a whole lot structurally, obviously, to the ballpark. This is our 29th consecutive sold out game at Progressive Field ever since we opened up in 1994. With our new lease extension and the emphasis put on renovations, as we're now the 8th oldest ballpark in the country. with the number of renovations that need to be done, not only in the infrastructure, but for fan services and convenience and entertainment. Over the next 2-3 years, we're going to be adding some things to our ballpark. I think our fans are going to have the same wow factor as when they first walked in April of '94.
Hey, Bobby with us here on 93.5, 1590 WAKR, VP with the Cleveland Indians, Cleveland Guardians, I should say. Bobbi DiBiasio with us on WAKR, brought to you by JW Dodano Electric. Bobby, let's talk about the team itself. This is a real young baseball team. A lot of these guys we've seen tunnel through Akron in the last couple of years, including the young man who's just off to a phenomenal start. And Stephen Kwan, who was with us for the majority of the season last year. But talk about it. This is a really young, I think, exciting baseball team that we're seeing right now with the Guardians.
I think the youngest team in all the Major League Baseball right now, giving these young men who had an opportunity to get their feet wet a year ago, most of them, and having a little more confidence as they roll into another Major League season. Was one of the reasons that Chris Antonetti, Mike Chernoff had talked to the media about in spring training. As we went out this winter and spring and looking to see what veterans we might be able to add to this baseball team. Once the ones we identified, we weren't able to make the deal. It takes two to tango. We just weren't able to make the deal. We then decided as an organization that we feel strongly and confidently about our young athletes. So why put somebody as a roadblock to our young players that really isn't going to be a discernible impact to our baseball team? And Stephen Kwan, I think the Owen Millers, Ernie Clements are really a part of that process for sure. And what Stephen Kwan is doing, just for those who may not know him, he's 5'9", maybe 180 pounds. He's a California kid. He played his baseball at Oregon State, won, I think, a College World Series with Oregon State, hitting the number 2 hole, a 5th round draft pick of ours. I just looking it up the other day. Ray, he was the 163rd selection in that draft, and still hasn't struck out, including spring training. And so far in the 4 games hasn't swung and missed. And in today's game, that's really an amazing statement when, if guy strikes out 3 times in a game, it's no big deal. But I think the game is changing. I think there's a whole philosophical different approach to the game of baseball, and finding guys who put the barrel of the bat on the ball more consistently. And Steven's just, again, reaching base 15 times in his first 4 games. It's historic, going 9 for 13 with a couple doubles, a triple, and 6 runs scored in 4 games in the number 2 hole there. So he's really a fun story to start the season. But I think this young ball club of ours, what they went through last year, seeing the whole starting rotation go down, and then different people, Cal Quantrill, Eli Morgan, Logan Allen, Tristan McKenzie, having to step up and get into that rotation has just added so much depth to the strength of this franchise. It's pitching. And then we were able to sign some guys to some multi-year deals like Mr. Clase and Jose Ramirez, of course, and Miles Straw to help with the foundation moving forward. We're in a pretty good spot. We are confident in who we are as a baseball team. A young team will have some ups and downs, of course, but I think the daily drama over the next 6 months, we're going to enjoy watching this young, talented team grow up.
Hey, Bobby with us, VP with the Cleveland Guardians, Bobbi DiBiasio with us here on WAKR. He mentioned Stephen Kwan. this isn't just a hot streak. I was looking at statistics with him over the last 4 years in his professional career. He's an over 300 hitter. And by the way, with the Rubber Ducks last year, he was hitting 337 before he got up to Columbus. So the guy can put, as Bobby said, the barrel on the ball. Bobby, I think it's important, and I don't want to gloss over it, the contract extensions that you talked about with the organization. I think those are real important. Class A extension. Miles Straw, your everyday center fielder, gets the contract extension. And then really the leader of this team on and off the field, Jose Ramirez, makes a big time commitment to our Guardians club. So talk about ownership stepping up and signing these three guys to these contract extensions. That's big.
I mentioned this phrase earlier, it takes two to tango. They had to want to invest in the Cleveland Guardians organization, each and every one of those players, as we wanted to invest in them. So when you have that scenario, it works wonderfully for the organization. Paul Dolan sat down at a table with Jose Ramirez in spring training, and those two talked it out. Paul looked in his eyes, wanted to understand that he was extremely serious about his statement that he wanted to play his entire career in Cleveland. And after those two had that obvious opportunity to just go man to man and have a wonderful conversation, the deal was done. We found a young man that absolutely wanted to spend his entire career in our uniform. And once that happens, you'll find a spot that makes everybody happy. Miles Straw, what I thought was great about his conversation was all he said, I just want to concentrate on being the best baseball player I can be. And now this allows me to. And so him not having to worry about arbitration or the first year or two of free agency, he's in a position where he can just go out and just be him, who we all feel good when there's a ball hitting the air in the outfield, he's going to go get it. And as a leadoff hitter, he's pretty darn good. He gets on base, does the things you're looking for from a leadoff hitter, center fielder. And obviously Class A, I'll give you one stat about Class A that I just found amazing. You know, getting your closer solidified makes the manager sleep a little bit better at night, that those last three outs are in the hands of a guy that, 90% of the time is going to get the job done. But he throws a 99-mile-an-hour cutter. I think he threw 200, if I remember the stats accurately, 259 99 miles or higher cutter, a ball that breaks away from right-handed hitters, in on left-handed hitters. The next guy in baseball, Pastansis at the Yankees, 6. I mean, that's how dominant, big, and strong this guy is. He threw something 450 pitches over 100 miles an hour last year, tops in all the major leagues. And I think the next closest guy was 200. As Tito said in the paper, a shortened spring training, he really hasn't found his rhythm quite yet, and he will. And it's just wonderful to be able to have a solid leadoff hitter, center fielder, your best player in Jose Ramirez, and a closer, the foundation of this team as you look moving forward, as all these young kids vie for their playing time and who's going to make an impact on this baseball team. We're in a pretty good spot.
And you talk about defense, and we can wrap it up this way, Bobby. When you look at Straw in center, and then Mercado has really got out of the gates nicely, strong and right, and then Stephen Kwan in left. There's your outfield defense that I thought really lacked a little bit last year. And of course, Jose is always solid at third base, and Hedges behind the plate is among the elite defensive catchers. In order to get a young team winning, you need to win some of these close games. And you know this as long as you've been around the game. You got to play defense to stay in the games. And I think we're going to stay in the games with those gloves.
Pitching and defense, it's how we're built. I know it's not the sexiest thing in the world. People might, although we have scored 27 runs in the last 2 games, I don't know if you'll expect that from us consistently, obviously, but pitching and defense is how we're going to go about winning the majority of our baseball games. So we do need to play crisp, fundamental baseball, as all young teams need to do the things appropriately on defense, throw to the right cutoff man, throw to the right base, make the 2-out play when it's there for you, and run the bases efficiently and effectively and aggressively. That's the kind of team we're going to have. I think people are going to really fall in love with this baseball team as we move forward. But pitching is always going to be our strength, because when we play a baseball game, we know the guy standing in the middle of the diamond, we're going to have a chance to win that day. And we feel good about that.
That's well put. Going forward, VP with the Cleveland Guardians, Bobbi DiBiasio, will be joining us each week with Hey Bobby, brought to you by our good friends at JW Dodano Electric. The home opener is coming up on Friday at the ballpark. Bobby, good talking with you again. Look forward to our weekly conversations as we get into baseball and the Guardians and all that stuff. So enjoy it. And thank you so much for the time. We'll catch up with you again next week.
Thank you, Ray. It's going to be fun all summer long. Go Guardians.